We saw the video of the woman that fell chasing her baby stroller. I did hear. I can talk about that real quick, I guess, because this lady caught a lot of shit for it. So this was all over Twitter, and I gotta be honest, clearly the take most people had is, stupid Americans too fat to save their baby. That's not what my takeaway is. It really seems like she's disabled. Like, unrelated to weight things, just the way she moved, like I feel like she actually has like a disability, not like an obesity. And she also doesn't look that young either. I could be wrong, and it could all just be like obesity related, but I that's not how I looked at it. But luckily that guy was a fucking hero on standby. She's in her 60s. I mean, yeah, that tracks. That does track. Thanks for resub Chewy, Janice, Gonza, and the gift Sebastian, and the bits Andy and Koi. Being 60 and face planting that hard will fuck you up. Being 28 and face planting like that'll fuck you up. If I fell like that, I probably would have been down for the count. Even with all the adrenaline surging through my veins, that would have been the end of it. She must have been losing her mind in panic. Well, obviously. And that's a very real thing. I know that gets critiqued in horror movies a lot, but it's super legitimate in reality. That's grounded in reality. When you get scared or if something happens, everything goes out the window. So when you try and, run, you will pretty much always fucking fall. I've seen that shit happen in so many of those, old videos where someone gets, pranked or whatever, and they, freak out and try and run away and they just start falling. Or in those CCTV videos where something bad happens and people are trying to get away. Everyone falls. Literally everybody. I thought stress was good for survival. It's actually the worst thing you can do. I think it was Mythbusters when they were doing the myth about the car turning turtle. So a car in a pool. I think they also cited that as the most dangerous thing they've ever tested. I believe the conclusion was panic would have actually killed him. Panicking almost killed him. The worst thing you can do in any situation is panic. And also the conclusion is it's very difficult to escape from a car that's going underwater. How the fuck did we evolve if we just turn into jelly when being chased? I don't know. It's a good point, I guess. Are you supposed to let the car fill all the way up with water? How about I just bring up the Mythbusters clip real quick? So, I believe what they wanted to test is, it should be easy to get out of a car that's submerging because once the car is fully underwater, you can just open the door and get out. But that's just not the reality of how these things go. And there's a lot of ways of doing that. I think the one that got a lot of steam, and I don't know if it actually works, but if you take the headrest off of your seat and if you jam it in between that gap where the window meets the door and pull back, it should break the whole window, and that's when you get the fuck out. I don't know if that one actually works though, but that theory gathered a lot of steam. That one doesn't work? Oh, was that myth busted? Because I remember people used to tout that one a lot. You can't open the door until it fully equalizes, which is exactly what they showed here. So the car turned turtle, which means it went turning turtle is when it goes on its shell. That's why it's called turning turtle, so it goes upside down like this. Filled the car up with water, so he had to hold his breath for way too long, more than most people could reasonably do, especially when panicking. Door won't open until it equalizes. It just takes too long. But yeah, once it does, you can. So I guess if you have incredible lung capacity, you could probably just wait it out. But usually you're supposed to break the window. Roll down the window. I mean, if you have a hand crank, like an old car, maybe you could do that. What do you think? How do you think the window rolls itself down? When you press that button, what do you think is happening? Magic. Yeah, someone got it. It's electricity. When your car goes in the water, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lose the ability to do that. You can't just roll it down when you're in that position. It won't work. Now, I guess if you, like, slowly went into the water and immediately thought to, I guess you might have some time to roll it down a little bit. You could. Perhaps. But you'd have to, like, fucking plan for it. This is the Prime Forte and the Resub Moon, Sophile, Beefy, Zray, and the Prime Rika. Use the head of your key to hit the window and it should have a super weak crack point. I don't know that one. Apparently what I mentioned was proven wrong. I had always heard, because I think it was actually because of this, the big thing was you take your headrest off of the seat, you put it in between where the window meets the door, and you push back towards yourself, you crank it, and it was supposed to break your window. But all of chat said that was proven wrong, so it's up in the air now. You probably just need like a special tool for it. 12 volt can run underwater, essentially. Oh, you're talking about for Windows? Maybe. I still would. I'll look it up because now I'm curious. Even if you did maintain like the ability to roll down the window, I still don't think it would open because of all the pressure of the water. But I'm curious. Let me look it up. Thanks to Resub, Potato, Imbergs, Mars, Kona, Frung, and the Prime Furlong. Just need to drive around with a pre-shattered window. True. Check the second video. How to escape a shatterproof window underwater. Oh man, that's some Final Destination shit. Let's see. How do you do it? Now I'm curious.
Hey Brainiac, nice
Thanks
car.
Despair,
What's that?
Unicorn,
The new 2019
Pyro,
Tesla model? Automatic doors, shatterproof windows, Bluetooth, and all. The car is, for the most part, intact. Bad news is, how do we say this? You and your car are slowly sinking to the bottom of a river. But no fear, we've done lots of videos on how to survive sticky situations exactly like this one. Plus, we'll tell you how to equip your car with your handgun. As for the body of the car, Tesla claims that a sledgehammer can't even dent it. Safety measures, find a way to keep the driver protected from collisions, but not indestructible in case someone had to get out of a sticky, or I guess wet, situation. Thankfully, we have plenty of tips and tricks up our sleeves, Brainiacs. Let's go through this step by step. First things first, unbuckle that seatbelt of yours. Honk the horn a few times to draw some attention so someone can call for help. Most importantly, remain calm. The more anxious you are, not only will you tire yourself out, but controlling your breaths will increase the chances of your survival. Because your modern car can't roll down your windows, you have two options to escape. The first is to escape through a door once the car is completely submerged underwater.
Oh, Mythbusters just proved how hard that is, though. As well as that Weather Channel video. She couldn't escape through that door because it took so long for the car to be fully submerged for the pressure to equalize. They ended up just backing her out. So I don't know about that one.
It's important to make note of a few things before you decide to pursue this option. Does your car have manual as well as automatic locks? Since most cars these days can be locked and unlocked by your keys and not the traditional switches, if your car loses power underwater, chances are you won't be able to unlock it with your handy keys. Unfortunately, escaping by the doors doesn't seem like a viable option for you here, Brainiac, but fear not, there are other options. We can also try to escape through windows. Looks like we can't open them because your car is down, so it looks like we'll have to break our way out. Shatterproof windows, you say? You may be right. A 2018 statistic reveals that 1 in 3
how the fuck are you gonna break that?
With laminate windows,
bulletproof
shatter
too,
and robbery-proof grade material. But not all 4 windows are completely shatterproof. For safety reasons, manufacturers will install 3 laminate windows just in case of emergencies. The material of the window should be indicated on either the bottom left or right corner. Just squint your eyes and see the fine print. Now puff up your chest, Brainiacs, and let's break this window. I bet you wish you
I don't know if you're gonna have time to read that.
You do right about now, don't you? Lucky for you, you don't actually have to have the biggest muscles to make it out alive okay. We have a tool specifically manufactured.
Yeah, so it's literally the same thing. You just still need that window breaking tool. That seems about it. Thanks to the resub. Andre, Geet, Ringo, Tarnished, and the Prime, Aspect, and Despair, and the bits Mac and George. No, I haven't seen that, George. And yeah, we actually watched that. That was a banger, Mac. Kick out the front window, it's easy. If your car is submerging, the pressure from the water is going to make it impossible to do that. In that case, you could have... If we're going to play by those fantasy rules, just open the door. But it's not going to happen. The pressure is too much. Just teleport out. Yeah, just a slash unstuck. I'm curious now. God damn it. Can you actually not break the windows with the headrest? Let's see. Does this not really work?
As hard as you can.
Well, that's not what the... That wasn't... That was... pretty fucking cool, actually. That's not what the advice was, though. It was to put it in between where the window meets that door and crank it down. So I guess you do it up here and crank it down, but maybe that just doesn't work. That would not work underwater, though. Well, that's why you're supposed to crank it down, instead of, like, try and bash it.
Will a headrest break a window? I've done this so many. If it will break, and then put... Alright. It's fair to assume that doesn't work, so let's try the other method.
Oh, here we go.
They say to put it in here.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't... You don't have to fucking wedge it in
Ready?
there. I don't...
Yeah.
Oh.
I did hear something break.
I wouldn't have expected it to go that deep.
You're dead. Car's filling up with water, you're dead.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that shit doesn't work at all.
The shooter, you're dead.
Huh.
There's literally any time.
All I did is just bend that thing. Who's gonna...
Interesting. Well, hey. Myth busted. I'd heard that so often, too. I just accepted that as the truth. God damn. Oh yeah, spark plugs. I guess if you have like a handful of spark plugs like pocket sand, you could just throw it at the window when you start submerging and break it. Spark plugs break this shit instantly. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Today's video is sponsored.
Actually, here, I want to just do the money shot here. Oh, here we go.
People say that porcelain and spark plugs is supposed to be able to break car windows. Let's find out. First, we gotta get some porcelain. I'm gonna try this small
because of the
piece
ceramic.
first,
Yep.
And then I'll try.
That's what I read
this
about as
larger
well. That
piece.
the
Let me
ceramic is what makes it
divide
break
that
so
a little
quickly
bit better, actually.
or easily.
We'll try this small piece first, and then that larger piece. Here we got a car window. We're gonna try the smaller piece. Nothing. Larger piece. Oh, look at that.
God,
Did
that's
work.
crazy.
People say that
I'm surprised how many people didn't know that. Actually, I'm not that surprised. It sounds unreasonable. It takes just a very small fragment to do it. Like, that larger piece is still like a very fucking tiny little pencil tip.
Should be good.
Exit tier 1, Elise. Why does that work? From what I remember reading, it's the ceramic in the spark plug, so this porcelain thing, the ceramic on it is so sharp that it can just immediately break through easily. Try throwing it underwater, though. I mean, yeah, it might be a little hard to do it underwater, but you don't necessarily have to throw it, you can just hit it. There's something oddly satisfying about seeing a car window break like that. How about a neutral drop? Yeah, how much pressure does it take?
I'm gonna take this little itty. Every kid should. I'm gonna. Like, you probably can't even do this with a brick. All right, everybody, you ready?
That
That
wasn't like neutral.
It's fascinating.
But it is
And
fascinating.
here it is. Look, it fell on the ground. Didn't even go through.
That's just some random dude's car.
All right, folks. Little fun fact from Neutral Drop. I'm sure you hardcore.
Oh, the
fans
channel's name is
already know
Neutral
about
Drop.
this.
I thought he was just gonna drop it onto a piece of glass. A neutral drop. I see.